We are back live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the second race of the Speedvision Cup Series. Today's coverage is being brought to you by Toyota. Every day belongs to you. Make it count. Toyota, every day. And our live coverage of the Toshiba Copiers and Fax Nevada Grand Prix will continue tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with live sports car coverage, the Sports Car World Sports Car class, and the GT class from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Once again, 4 p.m. Eastern Time live tomorrow. In fact, we're going to have 3 hours of live coverage tomorrow with the World Sports Cars and the GT class. And the guy we've been talking to throughout the afternoon, Bill Auberlin, will be strapped in not one but 2 different cars. Not at the same time, but it should be an interesting afternoon for you.
It should be great. Even better here. This battle is has been going on now for what must be 10 laps, and maybe he is adhering to what Dominic said, where he's just going to follow him and be content, because I have not seen him pull out even once to try to make a pass.
Well, once again, less than an hour to go. Now looking at the 81 car, second place in the sports class, Mike Fitzgerald, and he had just a bit of an incident about a lap or so ago, riding in second position, as we take a look at a locked-up braking system.
Well, you see the car there, as you turn into the hairpin leading back onto the main straightaway, the car is very unloaded on the right side, so it's very easy to lock that inside tire there. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of those types of braking zones at this racetrack where the car is not perfectly level and is unbalanced in the braking zones. That's one of the things that makes it tricky.
But have you thought about one other thing? That car's got ABS. And now, why would it be locking up a wheel if it has ABS unless it's malfunctioned somehow?
Or maybe they've disconnected.
Or maybe disconnected. Is that legal?
Well, is it legal, Jeremy?
I'm getting a thumbs up from our tech man back here, so apparently, yes, it's legal to disconnect the ABS brakes.
The funny thing is, the M3, and I drove this car also, a version of it, you tend to even be able to get better lap times if you leave it connected, so there's really not much of a benefit to disconnecting it in the first place.
So as you watch the 81 car now, that is second overall and 9th, or second in class, we should say. 7th overall. But the best action is still up in front, and the question remains, is Terry content right now to ride in second position? And will he have to make that stop and go, that little splash for gas?
Well, I think it's safe to say that the Toyota will have to stop for fuel. This is about as close as Terry's been, by the way, coming onto the main straightaway. And he's pretty solidly tucked in there. Got a nice little draft, although the Toyota now pulling out a bit of a margin. But that is certainly as close to... Look at this. Here's a move down the inside. Very hard braking, and Terry with a very solid pass. Very well set up. Gets into the chicane a little bit hot. Toyota's a little bit quicker, but he comes out with the lead. So that was as close as we had seen him coming onto the main straightaway, and he really was able to capitalize on that by using the brakes on that BMW to take the lead. Toyota coming back at him around the outside.
Now, will he make a move where we saw him make moves earlier inside right here in 5? No, does not have position for that. That was his passing zone earlier this afternoon when he moved from 3rd to the lead. Could not get the job done there as they head through that infield section. Turns 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Well, now as a driver, what you're going to do after you make the pass is you're going to stand on it. You want to get a little breathing room so the guy's not crawling up all over you. And when you get that breathing room established and you show that, hey, I'm the assertive one, I can drive away from you easily, even though you're totally out of control here, then maybe you mentally break the guy. You can see he's on the curbs there. You mentally break the guy behind you so he gives up a little bit.
The 81 car, John Bisognano, is down there with you in the pit lane.
Well, this should definitely be the last pit stop for the 81 car. They're taking their time. They're getting this one absolutely correct. They've changed the right side tires. The car is full of fuel. Now, this is the car you saw locking its brakes. Now, when I talked to the drivers that have come off the track, they've said the track is definitely getting more slippery. The fuel that goes down on the track, the oil that goes down on the track, and now mixed with little spurts of rain here and there, it's very hard to see exactly what track condition you're braking in. You're going to see smoke coming out from several fenders. Now they're going to change the right side of the number 81 BMW. They're going to put 4 new tires on this car. Jeremy, what does that mean going back on the track with 4 new tires?
Well, I'm surprised that they're doing a 4-tire change under green at this point. I mean, they must really need to stop, but I'm a little bit surprised that they're going for 4 tires. So it's obviously something they've thought about, and it's a strategy. But boy, this stop is very slow, literally spinning a nut on there by hand. And they have now dropped down to 11th overall. They were up in 7th overall. Excuse me, that's 12th overall now. So that pit stop has cost them a great deal of time and track position.
Only now 5 drivers remain on the lead lap. Third place, Tremblay now over 13 seconds behind your leader. Fourth place is 14.5 seconds back, and the only other car on the lead lap, the 88 car of Van Cleef, is now 18.8 seconds behind in 5th position. So there's a look at Sylvain Tremblay, and again, he's over 13 seconds back of the leader. Lead car is now your number 54 BMW of Terry Borchello. You saw that pass down to the tri-oval into the number 1 turn, the chicane. So right now the BMW continues to lead. Live from the Toshiba Nevada Grand Prix, this is the Speedvision Cup, and here is the leader in compact, Steve Nowicki, now on board car number 6. So that car is leading in the compact class. And that is 21st overall, and the leader is in the pits. Greg.
You bet. Number 7 is in. They're going fuel only. The driver radioed in that he was experiencing a little fuel starvation. And so they're going with fuel only. I'm just looking at seeing the tires as much as I can here, and at least the left side look okay. And we'll have to see what happens. They are not doing a driver's change, nor are they doing tires. It's fuel only. They're hoping this will be it. They can get to the finish. They wanted to get it done early, and it sounds like they didn't have much of a choice. As they had stopped earlier than anybody else, they were in a little bit of trouble. They're in. And under green. That's the bad thing.
Guys, we talked about a splash and go. This is not a time stop. This is a very lengthy pit stop for fuel.
Well, I think with this car, you've basically got to top it up. You've basically got to put a full tank in it. So, you know, they probably went as long as they could, started to get into some fuel starvation. You know, you certainly don't want to run it out of gas. You don't want to lean it out and burn a piston. So what you do is you stop, and you know, you can hope for a yellow, but it doesn't come. So it's a long stop, and it's going to cost them a lot of track position. Hey, here's the leader now coming out onto the main straightaway. So the 7 car has just started to roll off. They're not going to go down a lap, but they're going to come
close.
Pretty close. Actually, we're going to see these two
in the same frame. Here they are.
Look at this. Look at this.
There's your leader right behind him. So still 5 cars on the lead lap. But realistically, this should, on paper, give the win to the 54 BMW, because if they do have to make that stop for a splash and go, we know the number 70 Mazda, that's now in second with some brake problems, will have to stop for a longer fill-up. That should give the advantage to the BMW.
And the BMW shouldn't have to stop for as long. So the BMW will lose some of the advantage. But, you know, just about anything can happen here. You know, we could get a full course caution. You can see as Borcheller kind of noses up, starts to close a bit of a gap up on the 7 car. But, you know, we get a full course yellow. That could change things. These guys might stop under yellow. It could close things right back up again. So nothing's over until it's over, and I'm sure Terry is not backing his pace down a whole lot. He's still driving pretty hard.
And the way they're running right now is just reversed of how they ran at Sebring, because the team that's leading finished second at Sebring. The team that's running second won at Sebring. So we could have a lock at the top of the point standing should the race finish like this. And there's a look at Sylvain Tremblay now in second position.
And that's third place right behind him. The 63 car has now caught up. So those cars, that is a fight for position in Grand Sports. So very shortly here, we could have BMWs in first and second.
Only 5 cars remain on the lead lap. That 7 car that had been leading is now 5th, almost a lap back.
And these cars running about 18 seconds, maybe 19 seconds behind Borcheller, actually 20 seconds now. So, and there's the 88 car behind the BMW. So this is second, third, and fourth for position.
Right together on the racetrack, maybe a two-car position between each position.
This is a replay for Tremblay. He's got a BMW with a Toyota behind it, and this is exactly how he lost the lead before.
In the final hour of this 2-hour and 45-minute timed event, Bill Auberlen has been joining us here in the broadcast booth, and you're kind of checking the watch because you have a qualifying session yet this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm getting ready now to head down there and do my first qualifying, which will be GT3, and then right after that I might hop into the GT2 car and try to knock one off from there too.
But of course, remember, we'll have live coverage.
Whoa. Sorry, Gary, side by side here through turn 8 and 9. Look at this.
As the battle for position continues, about to give a plug for our live coverage tomorrow of the World Sports Cars and the GT Series, but some great action on the racetrack.
Okay, this is how it happened before. The Toyota got by the BMW, and then the Toyota managed to get by the Mazda. So, the BMW a little wide of the apex there. Little mistake.
Eric Van Cleef in that white number 88 had a string of 15 front row starts, snapped in qualifying this morning. That car started third on the grid. But as they say, it's not where you start, it's where you finish, right, Bill?
That is for sure. And I am just watching this race here. And this is going to turn out to be a good race. If the BMW, the number 63 BMW, can pull it together, he could get right in this. But now, as we see the Toyota pull up here on Sylvain, he is about to maybe make the same move as the other one.
As a driver who is preparing to go qualify and then race tomorrow, can you pick up something by watching this race?
Well, I mean, basically what you see here is you see the strengths of each car. You see the Toyota seems to be able to brake good and handle good after a while. And you see the Mazda, and again, there he goes. He makes the exact same move as the other Toyota before and completes it. Now he's up in the second place.
But his brakes are probably working better right now than that 7 Mazda.
I bet you they for sure are. And that's probably something that's a little disconcerting to Sylvain in there. He's pumping, he's trying to fight for every position, and he's losing them one by one.
Now this track certainly has changed from the last time you were on it. So when you go out to qualify, the first 2 or 3 laps are going to be primarily to dial yourself in to track conditions.
Yeah, when I first head on, every time you get on this track because of the weather, because of the dust, it's different every time. On my first lap, I'll actually spend it adjusting the brake bias and the sway bars to get a balance. And as soon as the tires coming into the second lap, I'll try to really rip one off.
And of course, besides weather or sand, there's more rubber down now.
Oh, exactly. And if our car tends to stay pretty balanced because we have the same size tire front and rear, but if you have a wider tire in the rear and a narrower tire in the front, the rear will gain that much more grip, and maybe you wind up with an understeer.
Let's check in with Greg Creamer on fuel mileage.
Well, that's so key, and along with tires here, that's what we're looking at in my end of the pits, which is the 2 Toyotas primarily, as well as the number 54 BMW. The 88 Toyota, they made the latest stop in terms of the cars that made their first stop and got their refueling done. They were late. They're not sure yet that they're going to be able to make it to the finish. So you know that the BMW, even though they're saying, well, we're close, they're not. They're going to have to stop. We know the 70 Mazda is going to have to stop. The number 7 Toyota that just stopped, they're good to the finish. They also changed fronts on their first stop. They didn't do side to side like everybody else. That may be an ace in the hole because the front tires are seeing the most abuse. They're good to the end. The other 3, the major players here, look like they're going to have to stop. This is going to be fascinating when we get down to the end.
We've enjoyed, with 40 minutes to go, this battle for second, but as these guys have been battling for that position, it has allowed your leader, Terry Borcheller in the BMW, to expand that lead to over 25 seconds. So the battle continues for second and third and fourth, and we'll take a break and come back with that battle. About 6 laps ago, these 2 guys were battling for the lead. Altenberg and that number 7 car directly in front of the 54, and they're at it again, only this is not for position. Jeff is trying to stay on the lead lap.
And that's critical for him, and what happens here is he gets balked a little bit by that slower car, so he drops a wheel coming out of the chicane, but actually doesn't waste any time, and he came back at Borcheller into the next brake zone at turn 5, and Terry had no choice. He had to back off and give him the corner. So now, again, back on that lead lap, Borcheller following in behind, and it's a big risk for Terry to try and take that lap away from him. It's a very big risk.
And Jeff also wants to stay on the lead lap should we have a full course yellow.
Well, that's what I mean. He's got not much to lose, so he's willing to do whatever he's got to do to keep that car on the lead lap, whereas Borcheller has
more to lose.
Has got a lot to lose here.
So once again, Borcheller with every lap. In fact, he is gaining about a second a lap right now. He is out in front by 26 seconds over the 88 car. The 88 car of Eric Van Cleef, the Toyota Supra, now in second position, but 26 seconds back. And then Sylvain Tremblay third, but he is 27 seconds back. And as you take a look at the Tonelli Altenburg class, car number 7. Had the lead for a while, but then made that lengthy pit stop for fuel only and fell almost a lap off the pace. Came out of the pits just in front of your leader, and there's the gap. That's how far he has to go before he gets lapped.
It's kind of interesting. I was watching Van Cleef's hands in there, and he is working that car for everything he can get out of it, because the last thing he wants to do is go a lap down. There's hope for him. If a yellow comes out, he comes right to the back of the pack. And at the speed he's running right now, these two guys are actually, like you said, gaining a second to a second and a half a lap on the rest of the pack.
And right now, the 54 car is conserving fuel because he has someone to draft off of.
Now that's a real bonus for Borcheller. But I'll tell you,
he's losing the draft now.
Well, exactly.
Now he pulls up behind him in turn 5. We've seen a number of drivers off there here throughout the afternoon. That'll be a tricky spot for your race tomorrow, Bill, with the World Sports Cars and the GT Series.
It's true. Because you go into turn 1 and you get your brakes really hot, and they have very little time to cool off before turn 5.
Get them hot again.
And they're hot again. And believe me, you can actually feel the difference between turn 1 and turn 5, and the braking zone gets prolonged.
Well, here's the 43 car, who is the leader in the touring class, 7th overall right now. Oh, 6. I was looking at the 43 car. The 43 car was with the 60. The 63 car is now 4th overall.
Yeah, the 63 car has actually dropped back a little bit. He had been running with Tremblay in 3rd. Well, now he's a couple of seconds back. So he was about 5 laps ago. He was looking like he might take that position away, and now he's dropped back a little bit.
That 43 car, though, is 1st in class. He is 7th overall and 1st in class. So we were looking at 43 and 63 there. 43 is the Peyton Nonamaker Mazda.
Yep.
They are leading.
Meanwhile, the 07 is the 2nd place touring car. That is a battle for position. So as the 99 car makes use of some quattro drive there, this is the battle for the lead in touring.
And that's that Stanton Norris car, 07. In fact, when they ran here last year, Craig Stanton got married at 4 a.m. in the morning on the strip after he and John Norris had won the race.
That is a real special moment. I mean, after you win the race, you go out, you...
Honey, I'm happy I won the race. You want to get married? As long as we're here in Vegas.
That's it.
And they're in a position to win again this afternoon. This is the battle for the lead overall in touring. And that is also a battle for position. That's 7th and 8th on the racetrack.
And look at the Mazda as he came out of the chicane. He really clipped the that 2nd curb, and that really did upset the car. And the Nissan now able to close up alongside under braking, but on the outside here, the Mazda defending the position and runs a little wide, and the Nissan will come up the inside.
And that was by design. Not exactly where you teach to pass in a driving school, but it worked for him.
Well, what happens, you get a guy on the defensive, and he's being defensive, and you know, you're bound to get offline and make mistakes. And so you know, a guy gets a little wide of the apex, and if you plan it, you can certainly slot back in there and take that position away.
So Craig Stanton does exactly that. He moves up to 7th position on the leaderboard and 1st in class. So that's the touring class leader, number 07. Got number 28 continues to lead. That's the Michael Culver, Eric Tressler BMW. They continue to lead in the sports class, and they are 6th overall. But again, up in front with a almost 30-second lead is Borcheller. So Borcheller right now content to be where he is following that number 7 car of Altenberg. Well, now he's gone by Altenberg, but in the time that he was following him and drafting, he was conserving fuel and also lengthening out the lead. Almost a 30-second margin now between first and second. Third place, 34 seconds back, and fourth place is some 37 seconds back.
But he's gone by, but now he's got him breathing all over his back. And this is a tough deal because you don't want this. He has a great lead, and you don't want some guy all over you making you drive in the mirror and maybe make a bad move.
Would it be wise? Now, let me ask you two drivers. Would it be wise just to let him go on back around, get his lap back, and just follow him?
I'm surprised that Borcheller, you know, he knows that the two cars are running very similar lap times, and like you say, he's got really not much to gain by it. He knows that he can make that he can make a stop, he can get back out in front of the 7 car without a big problem. So, I mean, he may prove us wrong here. It may prove to be a key part of the race, but I don't think so. I think that he's only taking a risk by having the 7 car behind him. If Altenberg wants to get that lap back, he's going to do it in a pretty desperate way.
Yeah, but you could see that Altenberg just now, he lit it up on the way out of there, put some tire down. Maybe Terry just has that much left in the car where, like, he's extending the lead now. Maybe he felt safe, and it was a very calculated move, I hope.
Some 30 minutes now remain in this timed event, and that lead now again just under 30 seconds.
Terry a little wide of that apex in 5.
Still 30 minutes remaining. Is the car starting to talk to him? Is he starting to hear all the little nuances, noises that car is making?
I know that car. I know all you look at is the differential temperature gauge, because it's probably been pegged for the last 50 laps. Nobody wants to hear that, and it's just like they'll tell you, well, the special oil we have in there is what's holding it together. Oh boy, and he's closing right up on him here.
So as a driver, though, I ask you again, wouldn't you just let him go on by?
Well, look at that. Borcheller got balked there, and this is where the Toyota is going to be strong, is on horsepower.
Well, they use some of the banking here along this tri-oval, then dip back onto the apron, the flat apron, a bit of a transition between that banking and the flat apron. So with less than 30 minutes to go.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
We have that BMW out in front by 30 seconds now over second place. We'll come back live from Las Vegas.
He passes somebody, and he passes somebody else, and he passes somebody else into the big turn. He's taking the lead. He's going to win the 500cc GP World Championship. Another victory for the great Freddie Spencer. And the crowd goes wild.
Speedvision. All the thrills without the road rash.
All right, Spencer. You're free to go.
Looking at the leader in the sports class as our live coverage continues now from our stadium road course here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, car number 28, 6th overall, but leading in class. That is the Michael Culver, Eric Tressler entry. That is the car that won at Sebring. It was Michael Culver's first outing as a professional race car driver. For the third time in the 90s that a driver has won the first time out, and quite a tribute. Not only does he win it, but he may back it up with a victory here this afternoon.
Well, that could be quite a good record, 2 for 2. And it'll get hard to extend it from there.
Yeah, you only go down from there. I mean, I wish I could have started out that good. Didn't he fall a lap down somewhere early on that pit exit that he did?
They did get a lap down, but then the other cars in the class ended up having problems. So even though they had that miscue in the pit lane, it was actually their team car that also had a problem. So
that's why you just hang in there and you never give up, and you just keep plugging away, and the complexion of the race will change over and over. That's why you never won it until you're.
You know, I don't want to brag at all, but you know, Michael is a graduate of the Skip Barber School, and I actually spent quite a bit of time working one-on-one with him.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. I knew when he said, I don't want to brag. Here it comes. You're going to take credit for the fact that he won his first outing as a pro.
Well, let's interview him at the end of the race. Let's see what he has to say.
Now, what you just did, you prompted our pit reporters to ask him about that. And of course he'll say, oh, I have to thank Jeremy for all of his instruction.
Well, I'm just saying that you never know.
Well, whatever it is, he sure is doing a good job.
Well, there you go.
And I'll tell you, if Jeremy taught him, he probably knows pretty much what he's doing then.
Oh, it's certainly getting thick here in the broadcast.
I'm telling you.
He's losing that number on the right side.
Any other drivers you'd like to take credit for, Jeremy?
Well, I've worked with Eric just a little bit too, but mainly Michael.
You didn't give him any sticker lessons on how to stick them on the door.
No, I didn't do that. No decal lessons.
That's the next meet.
Well, of course, you're hearing the patter between Jeremy Dale and Bill Auberlin. Jeremy, a regular here in the broadcast booth, but Bill has been kind enough to come up and watch the race and give his expert commentary. He'll be leaving momentarily, get back to suit up because you have to qualify in about 45 minutes for the GTS 2 and 3 events for tomorrow that we will cover live on Speedvision. Once again, the overall leader still enjoying that 30-second margin. Car 54, Terry Borcheller. His team driver, Andy Pilgrim, qualified that car for the pole yesterday. Somewhat of a surprise, but again, the weather played a factor in the turbos not getting the pole position. It was hot yesterday as opposed to very cool and windy today. But there is that number 7 car now.
Look at Altenberg. Here he goes.
Altenberg wants that lap back.
He wants it back, and he's got nothing to lose. And Borcheller, look at this.
He's going to give him room.
Yeah. He's going to give him room. He's got no choice. He has to. You see Altenberg as he left the chicane, laying the 2 strips of rubber down again. So he's really driving the wheels off that car.
Second place now, 28 seconds back, Eric Van Cleef. And that Mazda number 70 of Tremblay is some 36 seconds off. But again, we're still looking at pit stops. Less than 30 minutes to go, but at least we know that second place and third place will have to stop. We're not sure about the leader.
Yeah, I hope they delay my qualifying session a little bit because I want to sit here and watch how this thing plays out because it's going to actually be a good one. Because
does your boss know where you are right now?
I'm sorry, but since we're in Vegas, I will bet that 54 will, because it's legal here. We can bet on it. That 54 will pit.
What was that?
I'm not going to let you take credit for that because you heard in your headset that no. Greg Kramer, he's coming right at you for his time pit stop. Let's see how long it is.
That was one brave crew chief. He just stayed there and waited for him to hit the marks. They are not doing tires. They're a quick clean of the windshield. It's a timed fuel stop. That's what they're doing. They're throwing it in. They want to get him out as quick as possible. They're still checking. They're looking at tires and brakes. They seem to be happy with that. No move to do anything about tires or brakes. They're just making sure the fuel is in. And the 88 car has come in right behind them here. So they're starting to get busy here. We're waiting. Boy, that 50, that's a longer stop. Now he's free. Now he's away. And again, the 88 car in a little bit further down pit lane. They too, it is fuel only at this point. They're looking at tires, doing nothing about them. They should be the best on tires handily at this point. They should be the best on tires handily because remember at their second stop they changed left side as well. So they'll have fresher tires. They just need to get this done and go out and they can go hard to the finish.
But they're losing precious seconds right now in the pit lane. The 70 car now has taken the lead. Tremblay is back in the lead, but remember he will have to stop as well. So it's all being played out now in pit lane.
Well, the other question is the fuel in the 63 car, which is the other M3, which is now sitting in second place. There's our new leader, Tremblay, in the 70 car, and we know he has to stop again. There's little question about that.
Now I'm going to bet, Jeremy. I'm going to lay it down the bet that the 70 car is going to pit.
Now, one sec. I was going to make the bet before the producer told me in my ear that the...
I don't know that for a fact.
I'm not blaming the producer. I'm just saying that I was very confident. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, here we are in Las Vegas and we're gambling.
See, as long as I'm tied into the wrong wiring harness here, I think I'm going to lose all the bets. That's the problem.
Here's the 70
now
car.
We're showing the 70 car with a 6.9 second advantage over the 63 car.
Not for long, because here comes the 70 down pit lane.
70 is pitting.
And behind him is 63, so that's the answer to that question.
So all the leaders, the pit lane speed only 50 miles an hour. That can be very disconcerting for a driver trying to make up some time.
And could see John Bizignano in that long shot there, which means John Bizignano is there.
We are here. When he stopped, a huge smoke dust, brake dust from underneath the tires. This car is definitely having some brake problems. Tremblay is in the car. He has radioed that brake pedal is getting longer and longer every single time he comes 130 miles an hour down to some 40 miles an hour. They've added brake fluid to the reservoirs up front. Looking at the tires, at this point, they're not going to change the tires. We have about 23 minutes left, and everyone is agonizing over the fuel flow at the moment. These cars are stock, and so is the fuel flow systems. I think my station in Breckenridge, Colorado, runs faster than that, but the car is out. Of course, that 6-second lead has been lost.
And look at this. Here's the 63 BMW right behind. So the 63 BMW gets out right behind the 70 car, so that should be a good battle. And the 54 car has once again taken over the lead.
Yeah, the 63 car took off in a big hurry and took out the last cone on pit exit over there. If you see it laying down, he wanted to go.
Another car off the track, the 00 car.
Oh, yeah, and this has the potential of a full course yellow situation. So
Paul Dubinsky, Joe Danaher teaming in that Audi. So, hey, could we have another yellow?
Well, this looks like we don't know exactly where that car is, but it could certainly bunch things up, and that would put the 54 car
parked outside turn 8, I believe, and it's just to the outside of that right-hander. So we're not sure if that will bring out the yellow or if we can continue with the last 20 minutes of this race under green. But once again, Terry Borcheller in the 54 BMW continues to show the way as we'll come back live from Las Vegas. Heavy rains came early and often at Sebring for round 1 of the 1998 Speedvision Cup. The treacherous conditions no doubt played a part in this crash and fire involving the BMW M3 of Anthony Massari. That, combined with continued torrential downpours, led to a lengthy red flag. The race finally restarted with the RX-7 of Nick Ham and Sylvain Tremblay taking an early lead. While other contenders fell victim to the standing water in turn 1, improving conditions helped Tremblay and Ham manage to stay out of trouble as they remained in front most of the afternoon, getting all but 10 of the 38 laps on the way to both the Grand Sports Class and the overall race win.
Well, man, this team deserves this. You know, last year we lost the championship. We couldn't win a race. We can win races. We're going to win the championship. That's what's next for us.
Well, today, that number 70 Mazda back in 4th position right now. Weather has not been a factor. It has been cool and very windy here in Nevada, but only a couple of sprinkles earlier in the day, so rain not a factor in this race. But there is a Tremblay post. Not the same combination. Randy Pope's in that car when the race began. Nick Ham had a conflict, had a commitment in Europe this weekend. So Randy, a former touring champion, a very able driver to step into Nick's position. But they just could not get the job done here this afternoon. They had brake trouble all day long, a very long brake pedal. And that's very disconcerting for a driver to go from 130 down to about 40 miles an hour in that first turn. And right now they're some 45 seconds back in 3rd position. Your leader, Terry Borcheller in the BMW, teaming with Andy Pilgrim. They're enjoying right now a 38-second lead. And there is your leader.
And they have had a great day thus far. And we were watching, there was a car that was stalled out on the racetrack, and we thought we might get a full course yellow, but they have now pulled that car to safety. So, and that's certainly going to be a sigh of relief for this team. Of course, the cars running 2nd through 5th would have loved to have seen a full course yellow to tighten that gap down with the 54 car. And those cars running 2nd through 5th were all running about 40 seconds back, and they're all running within about 8 seconds. So a great race for 2nd, but this car doing a great job out in front.
Now the number 7 car, that's a Toyota that was a lap down. and now he's right up in the second place. And what is his status on the fuel stop?
Well, he did stop, and I think he's marginal. I think that he stopped with about an hour to go, and I'm not sure that Toyota can go an hour on fuel. So I wouldn't be surprised if that car either ran out of fuel or had to make one very quick splash. So I don't think they're in as good shape as the other cars, the 88 Toyota, the 70 Mazda, and the 63 BMW. But meanwhile, the 7 car is in second place right now, 37 seconds behind this car, and a couple of seconds behind him is the 88 Toyota, and 5 seconds back from them is the 70 Mazda, and another 6 or 8 seconds back is the other BMW. So a pretty, 5 cars with the lead lap, and reasonably tight, except for this car out front.
Yeah, in the 88 car, we watched him refuel, so he's topped off. He can go the distance, and somewhere along the line here, he's going to probably take second place away from the 7 car.
Once again, your leader enjoying a huge lead right now in the waning minutes of his timed event. Only 5 cars remain on the lead lap. Your student, Michael Culver, is still leading in the sports class, 6th overall, and Craig Stanton and his teammate John Norris leading in touring, and they're 7th overall. And Nowicki and his teammate Rick Dischauer is now, they're 20th overall and leading in compact. And there is your 07, Craig Stanton and John Norris, your leader in the touring class, 7th overall.
I prefer protege.
Protege as opposed to student?
Yeah, protege.
Does he call you professor?
Mentor.
Mentor.
Oh, no, I gotta go.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to go with you.
Am I on my own here?
You're on your own. You're going to wrap this show up.
Well, none of us are worthy to be in here, actually, is the problem.
I'd like to take the school sometime. I took Barber, I took Russell, but you were never my instructor in either one.
Where did you do your Skip Barber school?
Indianapolis Raceway Park, and I did Russell over at Riverside.
The problem is, if you would have taken the school from Jeremy, you would not be an announcer. You'd be racing because you'd be winning. And that would be
right, you'd be winning some big race somewhere.
My problem was I'd been racing sprint cars before I took the test. I was always in trouble, you know. I didn't drive those little rear engine cars like I was supposed to.
I recall you telling me you didn't like shifting gears that much.
No, I get a car in 5th gear, I'll run over somebody before I downshift.
Yeah.
I like those sprint cars and midgets, you know, 1 gear.
1 gear does all. Step on the gas, it does a big wheelie.
I offered Gary, you know, I have a shifter cart. I offered Gary to drive the cart, and he turned me down.
Yeah, I'll have you know, I had that racetrack, I had that go-kart track in Whiteland, Indiana, and I've been running shifter carts down there. So you come on down next time you're in Indianapolis, and we'll have some fun. In the waning minutes of the race, we're live from Las Vegas. Take this break and come right back. Look at this traffic jam into the chicane, turn number 1. A lot of heavy action, and we want to quickly thank Bill Arberlin for coming up and joining us. I know you had to get down to get suited up to qualify for the race that we'll have on live tomorrow, so enjoyed your commentary. I'll enjoy watching tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. I need to have just enough minutes down there so I can give my last horrible thoughts to my crew before I go out there and try the best I can in qualifying there. But thanks for having me up here, guys.
Of course, during that break, the mentor gave you some tips on how to qualify, so I'm sure that will help.
Now I know how to do it. I mean, I was doing it all wrong, and I got it now, so we're good.
All those pole positions you've been getting, you've been doing them all wrong.
No, I got to do them backwards some other way.
Well, the number 7 car that led earlier before a lengthy pit stop had a little off-track excursion and lost the position of the 88 car.
Hey, the chicane.
Well, I guess he didn't lose the position, but he made it real easy for the 88 car to pull up on him.
He tried to lose it.
That's how Jeremy told me to qualify, right there. Just go straight through there.
Go through the grass.
They must have heard us talking.
I'll tell you what's really quick is if you just stay out on the oval.
There's the time left under 10 minutes now. I tell you what, I've had my time in sports car shifting. Let's put you in a midget or a sprint car on the dirt track back over here, and we'll have some fun.
That scares me. That really,
fun with it.
A circle in the dirt going that fast.
You don't have to shift gears. Just use your right foot on the throttle, drive with your throttle, cock it sideways, then turn into it.
Where's the drive shaft at on this thing?
Right down between your legs.
Forget it. I mean, that thing lets go, and I got problems.
We're understanding the black flag will be displayed for the 7 car. Now, we're not sure if that's because he Well, he went off track and cut that one turn, but he will be black flagged the next time by. So he goes from the lead to 5th, almost lost a lap, did lose a lap, got the lap back, and then on that last round of pit stops, made it all the way up to 2nd position, and now he'll get black flag.
It's interesting. We're gonna have a look at a replay here and see if he gained a position on this. And it's hard to tell from that replay. It looks like he may have gained a position, and that's why he would get black flag. He passed the little Mazda by shortcutting the racetrack. That's why he would get a black flag. If he didn't gain a position, then it wouldn't be a problem.
How do you gain a position, though, when that person in front of you is a lap or 2 behind you?
Well,
that's a position on the racetrack, but not a position in the race.
No, it's not a position on the race, but he did pass a car. And so chances are, if he had not shortcut, he would have lost the position to the Toyota, and by not doing that, so I think that's the basic reason behind that, is that he got by that little Mazda.
What about going into the turn if he passed the 88 car on the entry? We didn't even see it.
Right, we didn't see that part of the replay. We only had the latter portion of it. So that is going to be a great disappointment to this team. They've had a great race, but one small little mistake down the chicane, and
but at this stage, it takes they're running about over a minute and a half a lap. How many minutes are left? About 8 minutes. He might just not even heed that black flag.
I'd be negotiating on the radio right now for a while.
And your team manager would be negotiating with the race officials.
If you don't heed the black flag, then you get into the position of being excluded from the results, and that's the last thing you want to have happen.
Notice how diplomatic he was. You get excluded from being in the results. Jeremy has
as opposed to being
dropped.
Dumped like a hot
potato. Put the boots to you.
There's a look at the Conway Van Cleve car. The car is presently in 3rd position.
Now that looks like we're looking here somewhere else. Looks like the 63 BMW totally overshot the turn 5 area. Either that or the 54, but it's probably the 63 car. And he is
wouldn't expect Terry to make a mistake like that.
At this point in time, he must be
huge lead.
Cruise control mode.
Well, the 7 car has not come in yet, so I'm sure there are some discussions happening. And of course, up in the booth here, we are next to race control, so we can watch those guys. We don't know what they're saying. They're talking on their radios and talking amongst themselves. But I'm sure there's some heavy negotiations going on at this stage.
There's the 63 car, the Miller Ezel car, now 5th overall, the last car on the lead lap. In the waning minutes of this timed event, the 2nd on the schedule. Well, we have
look at this, the BMW here. Look at this left front, guys.
That's the 63 car.
That car has either got a tire that's gone down, or it's got a wheel bearing that's giving up. Oh, this is awful in the last 6 minutes.
Well, apparently it is a tire problem. We may be able, our astute camera crew apparently has that one on tape that we can. Oh, wait, this is the 54 car. That's just the dust. That's the dust. That's the 54 car.
He chops the apex there.
Oh, we thought there was a tire problem, but that was the leader. Just
no, I think
that's the team car. That's the 63 car.
Yeah, guys, I think this is a wheel bearing or something like that. It's not a tire. It's a wheel bearing or a brake rotor or a brake pad.
Now you're back with your leader. Borchelder enjoying almost a 30-second margin now over car number 7 in the final few minutes of our Toshiba Nevada Grand Prix from Las Vegas. With 3 minutes remaining, as you watch the leader here live from Las Vegas, we're being told there could be a fuel pickup problem in car number 54. Now, Jeremy Dale, that does not mean he's running low on fuel. He should have enough fuel after that stop. there's a fuel pump problem, perhaps.
It means they're having problems getting it out of the tank into the fuel system and up to the motor. And that could be any number of things. It could be a fuel pump. There's probably more than one fuel pump on this car. It could be an injection problem. It could be a fuel filter problem. There are any number of things that could cause that. Greg can possibly help us out with this, Greg.
Well, I just checked with two sources, team owner Dominic Massari and Andy Pilgrim. They both confirmed they are having a little problem with fuel pickup. They're not sure that the car is actually low on fuel. It may be, as you were saying, Jeremy, fuel pump, something not right. However, by the way the reaction is going around here, it might be, in fact, a fuel problem in terms of they ran that they did a 30-second stop and go, or excuse me, a 30-second time fuel stop. May have cut that a little short. They're very worried down here right now.
Well, Andy Pilgrim going for his 109th consecutive finish. This would be his 19th career win, his third for Terry. Steve Nowicki and Rick Bischoff leading in the compact class right now.
And it looks like Borcheller's just on full cruise mode now. He gave up a couple of seconds on that last lap to the 88 car. In the meantime, the 7 cars pitted, so the 88 cars moved up in the second position, the 70 car in third.
7 car in, upper right on your screen, getting a splash of gas.
And that he's being held by the official there, and the official is nodding his head. Okay, now he gets waved out. So they put fuel in that car. He's had the stop and go for the black flag. As the 54 car comes out onto the main straightaway, we should be seeing the white flag this lap.
There is the white flag indeed at the start-finish line. 2.2 miles to go for your leader. The BMW that started from the pole, qualified this morning by Andy Pilgrim. Right now, Terry Borcheller has the 25-second advantage going into the first turn, into that chicane section through turn 3. Onto the backstretch. Off turn 4 now, down the backstretch, headed for the braking zone of turn 5. And Terry looking for his 3rd victory in the Speedvision Cup, the 19th overall for Andy. If he can nurse that BMW home. Be a nice easy run, perhaps, if he can nurse it home. Only he can tell what that car is doing right now with the fuel pickup. The last time around, his margin was almost 25 seconds, 24.7, and 41 seconds over 3rd position.
Well, you can just tell by the way he's driving the car now that he's just cruising. He's not having to push very hard. You know, it's a real combination here with this car. Some very good drivers, a car that doesn't have as much horsepower as other cars, but has good balance, has good handling, has good brakes as he comes down to the checkered flag.
He's going to nurse it home, high on the banking this time. There is the checkered flag, and look at all the dust he's kicking up, because that, whoa, he almost clipped one of those markers down there. There are pylons down there along that stretch. I had to funnel them down to the apron, and he almost clipped one of those. He was up so high, he was kicking up all the dust up in the marbles. Part of the racetrack that no one had been on all afternoon. But he takes the victory, and we'll find out in victory lane just how much he had to nurse that car home and just how bad that pickup problem was. So Michael Culver, who became the 3rd driver this decade. There's the winner of the sports class, car number 28. Waiting for him to come off to take the checkered flag. And there's your winner of the sports class, Michael Culver. So he won his very first pro race, wins his 2nd pro race. And so we'll have a chance to take a break and come back and head to victory lane to speak with our winners of the Toshiba Grand Prix live from Las Vegas. Welcome back to the new Las Vegas Motor Speedway for live coverage of the Speedvision Cup. Today's coverage has been brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine, and Toyo Tires. On the road or on the track, Toyo Proxys radios deliver quality second to none for uncompromised performance. Toyo Tires, driven to perform. So as you take a look at Victory Lane, as we'll go down there momentarily, the unofficial results showing once again the 54 BMW taking the win over the Toyota Supra. The Mazda RX-7 of Tremblay and Popes on third, and fourth there is Tonelli and Altenberg. As we take a look at the rest of the unofficial standings after 2 hours and 45 minutes, there's Michael Culver, his second pro race, his second pro victory, and also winning in the compact class, Rick Dishaw, his first pro race, so the fourth driver in this decade to win his first time out. That's always impressive. It is impressive, and as we go down through the field here, we get into some of the slower cars, into the touring and the compact cars, and let's go down to Biz for the winner interview.
Terry Borcheller, you look very happy, but you also look a little worried.
Oh, I was a little bit worried. We had the last stop that we did a stop and go. And I tell you what, we didn't quite get enough fuel. Well, I guess we did get enough, but it sure made me nervous. The fuel pressure, I was watching it, it was dropping all the way down under 20 pounds, and I was really getting nervous. I was radioing back. It was stumbling in the corners, and it's a great way to end it. It brought some drama, that's for sure.
Drama and celebration here in Las Vegas tonight with this team, guys.
Well, his third career victory, his 19th for Andy Pilgrim, his 109th career finish, consecutive finish, which is just an incredible feat.
It is incredible, and Bill Oberlin is going to have to help him out tomorrow in the GT race to continue that streak.
John Norris, Craig Stanton also winning their class, as did Steve Nowicki and Rick Dishaw in the compact class. So don't forget the sports cars live tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be right back with you from Las Vegas. So hopefully the weatherman will cooperate. Had a great, exciting race this afternoon. Our congratulations to Andy and Terry. For Jeremy and Greg and John, I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us. So long from Las Vegas Motor Speedway.